anybody there?
All right. Well, I want to welcome you guys to yet another episode of the Dad Hat Chronicles. My name is Ed, and with me today, I have the general manager of the TBD team, previously Bears, Highline Bears, Justin Moser. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, Ed. Thanks for having me.
It was an absolute pleasure. I mean, your team, names are awesome. First of all, I want to say that me being, seal slingers and then my wife being fish sticks, it's a constant battle around here. So just wanted to put that out there.
That's awesome. We've gotten a lot of feedback from people about houses being very divided on which name should go forward. So it's been a ton of fun.
You know what? I think it's great, first of all, that you just decided to go with two names and then just have it, be voted out there by the fans. Great use of social media. Kudos to you on that. But yeah, my wife is like, nope, I just, like you, and I think you mentioned it on the previous podcast on pulling tarp, that because that people were looking at it as like the seal being swung. It was a little bit of I don't know, but I love it because I think like you were mentioning, is he was smiling, winking. Great stuff.
We appreciate it. Yeah, Brandios did a great job. They really helped us. I wish I could take all the credit and our group could take all the credit, but they've been really helpful in coming up and strategizing how we could gain attention and get people involved, and really we want to grow our presence within the community and the greater baseball world, and I think this has done it, and it's been a lot of fun, and I've appreciated you and all of your friends and fellow hat collectors and retweeting and keeping the conversation going and battling with gifts all over the place every single day. It's been a lot of fun to interact with you guys.
We are fully, obviously the community of minor league community here, they fully embrace what is obviously you guys know as Logovember, right?
Yes.
And when you guys released it, we were like, oh God, this is great stuff. And then not to mention, then you decided to do merchandise for both names. Oh, I think it was, knocked it out of the park on both, so again, kudos. You guys did it amazing. And kudos to Brandios, because they're always putting, top-notch logos out there everywhere.
Definitely. Yeah, the Logovember has been it's been crazy, and this week's going to be exciting. It's going to be real exciting. I didn't realize until the last couple of weeks how many different logos and announcements, and whether it be new names or if it just be refreshes of logos. I'm really excited to see all the ones that come out. And we were actually at first planning on announcing the name this upcoming week, but we're going to close down voting tomorrow. And then we're actually going to wait 2 weeks, and we're going to spend 2 weeks kind of developing the winning brand a little bit more, and hopefully have some additional marks, and then expand the merchandise. And we're actually not going to announce until December. We just really wanted to make sure that we weren't taken away from anybody's logo reveals, and making sure the community wasn't overwhelmed at all, and give you guys something to be excited about in December.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And like you said, and then in December, you come in with a new logo, with a logo and announcement, and like you said, all of the releasing of merch and all that. So that's great idea. I mean, that way you guys are just, it's a spotlight on you guys, which is awesome. Great.
Yeah.
So let's get to know you, Justin, the person. Tell me, I my first question that I always ask is, how did you become a fan of the sport of baseball? But you're also a swimmer yourself, so you have multiple sports here. How is it that growing up in the Seattle area, you became a fan of sports?
And I've listened to some of your shows, so I knew this was coming. So I was trying to think about it a little bit today, and no one in my immediate family and who raised me was really that big into baseball. My father didn't play baseball. My grandfather, I didn't find out till after he passed that he played a little baseball, but he didn't do much. He was a Cincinnati raised kid, and so he was always a Reds fan, and Johnny Bench was his favorite. So I heard my grandfather's stories about that, but my dad, not a baseball fan at all. And honestly, they gave me a Velcro baseball and Velcro glove when before I could walk, and I think it just kind of got me hooked. And then they're like, oh well, we better sign him up for t-ball, and then I became obsessed. Yeah, and honestly, if you asked anybody I went to grade school with, I was obsessed with baseball. I mean, and the Mariners being my home team. I mean, it was baseball cards, it was stats. I was the kid that could remember anything because all I did was read about, when we had a reading assignment, could bring our own book to the school. Well, I was reading a Beckett, or I was reading a Sports Illustrated, or a book on Ken Griffey Jr., the Mariners. Like, I was obsessed. I mean, Mariners hat every single day. And
that's
so
awesome.
that really got me into it. And then playing baseball, that was always my passion. And definitely wanted to play baseball further. And then at some point, I was 12, I couldn't swim, and I got invited to a pool party in the summer. And finally, I just said, I've got to learn how to swim. So I spent that entire summer learning how to swim. And then I got really into swimming as well. So swimming's something I do in the fall and the winter, because we have indoor pools here in Seattle. So that's something I do. I'd hang out at the pool all the time. And then in the summer, I wouldn't be there much because I'd be playing baseball all the time in the spring and the summer. And so I shifted with that, and it kept coming to, when I talked to my grandparents, it kept coming down to, you're going to have to pick one in high school. You're going to have to pick one. And I just never picked one. And looking back, I do wish I had. But baseball has always been my first love and my main passion. Swimming has turned into something that helped me. The pool was always my home when things weren't great at home, and it became a career path for me. So I taught swim lessons, became a lifeguard, worked at lakes, managed a lake, helped manage a pool, taught swimming. Now I teach lifeguard classes, CPR classes, all of those types of things on the side to support my my passion of running a baseball team, which has been it's been a struggle to learn that this is a business and that there's a way to do things. And our summer collegiate team runs just like a minor league baseball team.
That's awesome. You know what? It's trial by fire. It's like opening a hose and just off you go, huh?
Definitely, that's literally how it's been. And when I was younger, I think it was always, let's dive into the deep end before you know how to swim. Pun intended there. It was just, let's figure this out. I can do this. I can figure it out. And events have always been in me. Whenever my grandparents wanted to do a garage sale and I was a kid, I was ready to take a hold of that. And the entrepreneurial mindset has always been there too. I always wanted to, I was always flipping baseball cards. I flipped Pokemon cards. There was a swap meet up the street that ran every Saturday in an old drive-in movie theater lot. It was called the Midway Swap Meet. And so me and my buddies would go up there, and I don't know why, but my grandparents dropped me off. I was 8 years old, and they were like, oh, you'll be fine. Just let us know, or you can walk home. And, give
us a call if you need anything.
Yeah. And I would haggle with swap meet people. I'd sell baseball cards. I'd buy baseball cards. I'd do different things there. And then, that continued to, I was the kid who wanted to turn the Sandlot into my life. So I had this red wagon that I would fill up, wooden wagon full of baseball supplies. My grandmother would make lemonade and snacks, and I'd be on the phone calling all my friends, telling them we had to go down and play baseball down at the school, every Saturday. And I'd always be disappointed because we never had 18 kids so we could play a real game. But I always took things a little too seriously. And then when I was in high school, I started a media production company. I did that for a while. And then I also ran an event. One of my mentors and the guy who taught me how to swim passed away when I was a freshman in high school. Mm-hmm. And as a challenge, he swam across Puget Sound. So there's a lot of waterways here. And there's an inlet called Puget Sound. And so we were right on the water where we lived. And once for a challenge, he swam across to the island. It was like 2.5 miles. Whoa. So I said, well, in his honor, why don't we do that? So I created an event every summer, which ran for 7 years before the Coast Guard shut us down because it was too dangerous, because we were crossing shipping lanes. But, I ran that as a fundraiser. And so that was event based. And then I just got into this. And at some point I realized, this isn't as much about baseball as it is putting on an event for people and putting on a show. And it's the perfect combination for me between business, baseball, which I love, and just putting on events and having a good time with people.
That's, it's funny you say that, because a lot of people think there's like, oh, it's just baseball, you got to put the product out there and then we'll take care of itself. Minor leagues is not even close to that at all. Major leagues, obviously they get away with that because of the superstars they have, but in the minors, you got to have something else to, keep your customers involved, especially kids, because obviously it's very family oriented. And if you don't have a good product on and off the field, it's not going to last that long.
And when it really comes down to, and what I've learned, and even at the major league level, I wish they would realize this, especially with the big debate of you have teams throwing in the towel in rebuild years. You can't control the product on the field or the result on the field as much as you think you can, even at the major league level, right? And so at the minor league level, you definitely can't control the product on the field. Summer collegiate league level, you can control it a little bit as far as talent's concerned, maybe more so than in minor league baseball. But at the end of the day, you can't change if they're going to win or lose, or if the team ends up being better than you, they're better than you. So if you're depending what you're doing based on a winning record or having an amazing team, I mean, it's just a crapshoot. And I think Major League Baseball needs to really change their focus and take notes from minor league baseball and make things more entertaining and do less than just use your Jumbotron. Like, I understand the Jumbotron, great, but like, we can do things on the field. I think the Mariners marketing department does some crazy things, which are great. They had fried grasshoppers a few years ago in their concession stand. And,
I saw that.
For a while, teams have grounds crews dancing and stuff, and that gets a lot of positive feedback. I just don't know why they don't expand. And a great example is Atlanta with Beat the Freeze. How popular has that been in the last few years?
Yeah.
And it's popular because it's fun.
It is hilarious because and you see it everywhere. Obviously you are all the way up in the Northwest. I'm here in Ohio, and we know about something that's happening in Atlanta, Georgia, because it is funny, because of the retweets, right?
Yep.
And that's how it is.
Yep. And just fun. And you can't control the pace of the game.
No.
Right. And now I'm a diehard baseball guy, right? Like, and being a player, I know there's 300 different outcomes on the next pitch, right?
Correct.
I know the player at second has to line up for a cut if it's hitting a different gap, right? And that he has to move differently. And I understand those players are thinking about that. I understand managers are thinking about, if this guy gets on base, we got to throw to the next guy, what pitch counts are. But your average fan isn't able to think about that.
Correct.
They don't understand those things that are going on. And that's why they call it a mental game. So what you have to do is keep them engaged and keep them intrigued. And you do that with, off-field things.
Yep. And don't get me wrong, there's those fans that are there that are watching, like myself. I'm watching the chess match that is going on the field, but at the same time, I want to be entertained. I want my 3-year-old daughter and my wife for all of us to be entertained. But we both know that me and my wife, we're going to be like, look how they're shifting right now. How they're going. And it's fun, a lot of fun. And I really do take a lot of joy in watching those matches. But at the same time, like you said, marketing is such a big part from the get-go.
Definitely. And I think a lot of players have done a good job recently, but it's a thing. A marketing guy I follow, his name's Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V. But he talks about the Ricky Henderson effect. And when he went to a baseball game when he was a kid, Ricky Henderson winked at him. And he's like, he instantly became his favorite player. I took my godson to a Mariners game, and it was like pulling teeth trying to get a baseball during BP. And I understand I know everyone wants baseballs and that, but they finally got one. And what's he going to remember from that game? He's going to remember he got a ball, right? So if we're trying to build the baseball community and you're trying to do it with kids, like there's got to be that fan interaction. There's got to be that, it's got to feel like magic to them. And I think they can do that in other ways.
Absolutely. I know kids love being on, like you said, on the Jumbotron doing the games. They enjoy the, being singled out and highlighted, in front of all these people. It just needs to be, elaborated a little bit more and get more involvement. Like you said, Ricky Henderson was popular because he knew that he needed to be an entertainer.
Yep.
Another one that a lot of people talk about, it was during the Negro Baseball Leagues, was Satchel Paige. Satchel Paige was an entertainer. He knew that he needed to be more than just a game. He was more than just a player. I mean, the guy was absolutely one of the best, pitchers out there. But he also knew that he needed to entertain, and that's what we need to do nowadays, especially right now.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of players are doing it well. I can't remember the outfielder who did it, but, gave somebody a bat because they threw the ball back this year. And it was, I think, the first major league home run that their hitter had. And, things like that. When you're connecting fans to the game, those are moments they're just never going to forget.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Let's go back a little bit on something that you said. You had a media production company, my friend?
Yes, I did.
Tell me a little bit about that.
I decided I wanted to get into video and filmmaking, and this is pre-YouTube days. And again, diving into the deep end without knowing how to swim. It was just absorbing myself and reading things and doing different things. And the goal was to make films, but we didn't have money for equipment. And so I decided to I helped with some documentaries. I helped produce some documentaries and edit some documentaries. And then from there, we started doing TV commercials, local TV commercials.
Oh, nice.
Local golf virtual tours of golf courses locally and things like that. But again, just, it was both. We started in 2005, I think, and we ran until about 2009, and the economy started going down, and I just took on too much overhead. I was like, we need to look more professional. Let's get an office. And I rented an office, not even having contracts or anything. We had signed one deal, and it was just a little too much too fast.
Yeah.
And looking back, we were just a little bit too early. If we had waited a few more years with YouTube taking off, and the way that video has taken off now, I mean, that's a field you want to be in now to be successful. But learned a lot about business. And then after that failed, I decided that I wanted to get into the wood baseball bat business. And so I started private labeling wood baseball bats and selling wood baseball bats for 2 years. And I learned a lot about the industry there. The problem is that my margins just weren't big enough. And I tried to play the price cut game. Oh, I'll give everybody I can the cheapest wood bat possible. And so I was making $5 a bat or negative $5 a bat. And it just didn't work out. So.
That's crazy. You've done it all, my friend.
I bounced around quite a bit, and it's been a learning process. I decided I was going to go to film school, and I went to a local state college, and they had a really good film program. And I had been running my media production company with my business partner, and I applied to the film school. Or actually, I applied to the college, and I was rejected because my grades were so bad in high school. And but they said they liked my letter so much that if I enrolled myself and paid for my own courses over summer and showed them I was dedicated and ready to change, that they would accept me. So the dean actually called me and told me this and said, if you move down here, you pay for yourself, we'll accept you. And so I went down. I did fine over the summer, and I was ready. I applied to the school, got into the school, but then I had to apply to the film program. I applied, and on a technicality, the woman told me that I wouldn't get in because I hadn't spent a full year there, but I was going to be junior in college credit. So I would, and it was a year program. So I'd have to waste my entire junior year studying something else. And so I was pushing back, and I was like, listen, this is what I want to do. I have a business where I'm doing this. I want to learn more. This is why I'm here. And she just looked at me and said, this isn't a real film school. It's a film program. Maybe it's not for you. And that was the last day I was in college.
Oh, no.
That's when I dropped out. I got that's when I got a lease maybe 2 weeks later for an office, and then started running that business full time. And then, just kind of limped along. Aquatics has always been there for something I could go back to, which has been great. And to help pay the bills when other things that I was pursuing didn't. And it's given me a lot of opportunities, but I've learned a ton. So really, these businesses have been my education.
I was just going to say,
have been my college education. For
sure.
Sure.
It's preparing you. It prepared you along the way of what you're doing now, because I'm sure that, all of this that you've learned along the way, you're going to use all those things, and once the season start to, promotions and, keep up with social media and things like that for the team.
Definitely. And, same thing going into the team. We started the team, no idea what I was doing. And we really struggled along. When we started, we had no idea what we were doing. And I've said that in previous interviews and podcasts, and we've just been trying to figure out it along the way. And I think we've really, in 2018, we really started doing things the right way, and we started growing. 2019 was even better there. And then we kind of picked our vision. Hey, here's what we're going to do. Here's what's working. And then COVID hit, and we had already in 2019 been toying with a name change. COVID hit, and it was just like, this is a good reset button. Let's try to work and focus on a rebrand. And we had actually talked about coming out with names and hiring Grandiose in 2020. But then after talking to Jason at Grandiose, he was like, I just hold off. He's like, you don't know how it's going to work. Things are a little unpredictable. You guys might not even play this summer. Let's hold off and not rush things. And so we pushed it this year, and I think it was a great choice.
Yeah, I think it was a smart idea, because you guys didn't end up playing at all in 2020, did you?
No, we didn't play in 2020,
and
then we were going to do it for 21. Obviously at the end of 2020, announced the names and then go into 21. Well, things were so up in the air until about the middle of June here in Seattle with regulations. We didn't even have fans this past summer. We let the team play just so we could focus on our players coming back, continuing to have our relationships with colleges and making sure they were getting the best competition possible.
Do some scouting at the same time. So, getting ready.
Exactly. So the guys they played a real competitive schedule, and that was great. It's tough not having fans, but I think it was the right choice. And now we're set up, and hopefully things are opening back up, and we're on our path to have a great 2022.
That's awesome. I love it. There's something about going to a minor league game every single time, and I've recently, and I've said this a couple of times, that recently really got into the collegiate wood bat leagues because they're so much fun. Didn't even know, obviously, and this is, due to my own ignorance, obviously everybody knows, like, oh, this is the Cape Cod League, right? That everybody knows about them because of their movies and all of that, but that's not even close. There's so many all across the United States, it's become one of my favorite, parts of baseball is the wood bat league for collegiate, because like those kids, they want to play and they want to show off, and it's competitive. I know for sure.
Yeah, and don't feel bad. Before I'd say I was running the team for 2 years, and I had no idea the depth of summer collegiate baseball. And the amount of teams and leagues that span across the country. Like you said, about the Cape Cod, about the Northwoods League. I'm in the Northwest, so it's easy for me to know about the West Coast League and the Alaska Baseball League. But outside of that, it's like, oh, I didn't know there was a league in Virginia Beach. I didn't know there was a league in Ohio. I didn't know, how big and crazy the Coastal Plains League is. There's just
crazy.
Yeah.
And new ones are coming up, right? There's a new one that just formed not too long ago. I think it's like the Independent League, Yep. You got the Appalachian League, who this was their first year playing as a collegiate wood bat league, which is crazy. Now, I know for a fact that, like, for them, the team is chosen by USA Baseball and all of that. Now, you guys do your own recruiting for your own team, don't you?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. And, it is interesting. And I think these MLB partnerships are going to continue to expand, especially with some of those top tier leagues that we mentioned. They already get some of the top players in the nation. And so them partnering with USA Baseball and Major League Baseball, I think is just going to help them be more competitive, because in the past, it hasn't been as hard for them to recruit, right? They have their schools. And really the main league that was backed by Major League Baseball was the Cape Cod League.
Correct.
And now with Major League Baseball and minor league baseball kind of disbanding in the model that it's been in for so long, and Major League Baseball backing all of these collegiate leagues and indie ball leagues, I think that it's smart for summer collegiate leagues to start trying to partner with Major League Baseball, because otherwise it's going to get real hard to start recruiting some of that top talent.
Absolutely. Now for your team, you partner up with colleges around your area. Is that how you guys do it?
We typically do. I mean, so we have a local junior college league that is here,
Mhm.
and that's where we get quite a few of our guys.
Okay.
Our league, the Pacific International League, it's been around a long time,
Mhm.
but unfortunately, just when it's listed as far as the top tier talent, we're not able to pull quite a few D1 guys, right?
Gotcha.
And we'd obviously love to change that. So, we're working on host families is a big thing. How can we get higher end talent from out of the state? And so host families is something we're really focused on for 2022. And then we've had great relationships with the junior colleges locally and, in Montana, Idaho, in those places. We get a lot of D3 guys and D2 guys as well. And then like UW has sent us, the University of Washington has sent us some incoming freshmen
Mm-hmm.
that are going
Get
to
some
their
development
school.
time.
Yeah, get them some development against some college level guys. And so that's been really helpful for us. So we're kind of found a niche there where we can get incoming freshmen from Division Ones.
That's awesome. Again,
Yeah.
it's there's no right, there's no the right way of doing. There's so many ways of that you can get a good competitive and good product on the field. And like you said, you found your niche, and then that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, and I think it's really obvious. I'm competitive. I want to win
Mhm.
every single game.
Absolutely.
But there's also a point where it's we have a responsibility to our players, and our responsibility is to develop them, and we have a responsibility to the colleges that entrust us with their players over the summer. And if we are worried more about the final score rather than the development of the players, that's a problem, and I see that happen a lot. And there's a balance. Don't get
Yep.
me wrong. It's a one-run ball game. Like sometimes you got to go win that baseball game. But I see it too often where it's like we've got to win this game, and that player doesn't get the opportunity to get better. And I will let you know that every college coach I have talked to has never asked me what was your record last year. Oh, did you win your championship last year? Because they honestly don't care. What they do care about is how many at-bats did most of your guys get last year? How many innings did you guys give? What type of competition did you play? And that's our responsibility as a summer collegiate team. And I think we really got to focus on that, keeping guys healthy and making sure that, we've gotten guys who aren't starters at schools. And that has not benefited our win-loss record. However,
it benefits the player. Yeah.
Exactly. And when they go back in the fall, they become starters. And then they typically end up having such a good year that next spring, we don't even get them back again, right? They end up going to the West Coast League, or they go to the California League, and they end up tearing it up, and they end up being a dude. I mean, we had a guy that played for us 2 years ago, and he ended up going to the West Coast League the year after, and now he's going to start at Utah next year. It's just like, and I mean, when he played for us, he was decent, but he wasn't amazing. Like, you wouldn't have been like, oh, that kid's a D1 baseball player.
But
now
he put the work.
Yes, he put in the work, and he went through those reps, and I looked up his batting average. He didn't even, I think he might have hit 270, or less. Like, he didn't put up amazing numbers when he was with us, but he helped our process and our schedule help develop him into the player that he is today. And, that helps me when we don't always have the winningest record.
That's awesome. I love that. That's such a good, and that's a good feel good story, right? That's something that you can, hang your head on and say, when coaches are asking you, it's like, listen, look this kid up. This is what he was doing, and look at him now.
Definitely.
That's good. Now, and let me ask you, have you had players telling you, hey, we want to go, play for you guys? Are you guys doing, your scouting now, things like that? Are you getting those calls already?
Yeah, we've definitely gotten contacted by it. And, the recruiting, we've definitely been contacted by some players, which has been great. I think some players honestly are waiting on the names. I've gotten texts for coaches that I talked to, and they're like, listen, we were having a debate at practice yesterday, and they're like, it has to be this name. And that's great for me, because we were never talked about as the Bears. and there's so many people locally on our Facebook page that are upset about the names. And but that's all part of the process, right? It's just, hey, we wanted you guys involved. We opened this for name submissions. Most of the people didn't submit a name when we asked for it because they didn't get the attention. It didn't get their attention then. But now we've selected 2, and we're down to 2. And
this is it, guys.
They're like, these are outrageous. Are you serious? So that's too funny.
But it works. It works. I mean, look at sock puppets, Otterbots, names like that, that are just, they're hilarious, they're funny, but it is across the board, people love them. And then when I saw your names, I'm like, oh my God, there's no bad name here. They're both great. I chose my side, obviously, right? But
yeah,
doesn't matter though, because they're both great.
And it's also, what can you build around it? What kind of fun can we have, right? So I know one angry email that I received was, you guys just want to sell merch with a crazy name and crazy logo on it. And I just responded, and honestly, well, that's one part of our business.
Yeah.
However, what I'm really excited about is what we can build with one of these names at our events. And I hope you'll come out and enjoy and experience what we're going to be able to do. Because something so generic as Bears, that just limits you on what you can do.
Correct.
Yeah.
And in the way that things have been going lately, it's very obvious that a good catchy name is gonna get talks, it's gonna get the clicks, it's gonna get the merchandise going all across the US, all of it. I mean, look at me, I'm in Ohio, right?
Yep.
And I'm definitely very much invested in this, what is going on and what the new name is going to be.
Yep. It was too funny. I was having breakfast with a friend, and a friend of theirs was there this morning, and she said, listen, I'm going to buy your breakfast, Justin, but it's got to be this team name. And I can't take bribes. I can't take bribes here. And it's just the amount of investment that people from all over has been a lot of fun, and we're really excited about it.
Good for you guys. Love it. I know. I'm sure. Let me ask you guys, once a new name is chosen, would you guys still sell the merch for both teams? Or you're just going to go straight?
I don't know if we're going to or not. There's a lot of different ideas that have come up.
Like theme nights and things like that.
Figure it out. Yeah. I know we've been toying with a what could have been night, which are very popular. So we're thinking about that. Some other ideas were, fish stick Fridays. So every Friday we put on the fish stick jersey, or seal slinger Sundays has been thrown out there as well. So, hey, every Friday we're the fish sticks, or every Sunday we're the seal slingers. And it's like, oh, that might be a creative idea. And,
it's a win-win.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be a lot of fun because we have both names, and we own both names and both logos, and we can move forward and have fun with them. Or maybe if we start another team in the future, it's the name that we don't go with.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. That's amazing. I love it.
So I think we probably won't sell the merch. So I know what we're going to do is we're going to close off voting tomorrow night, and then we're going to leave the merch store open for 2 more weeks until we make the announcement. So anybody who didn't pre-order their merch gets one more shot, and then whichever brand wins and that we develop, that'll be the only merch that's available for the foreseeable future.
Gotcha. I like it. I like it a lot.
I got something for you, Ed, though, because you day one you sent me a tweet, and you said, I wish they had a dad hat. And I'll be honest, I was very ignorant. I didn't understand the dad hat. All right. I actually didn't understand the hat culture and the depths of it on fitted, on snapbacks, on dad hats. And so I did research right away, because I don't like being wrong. So I went and I said, oh, he's right. And I told you, and I said it publicly, I said, I'm sorry, you're totally right. And so I reached out to 47 brand, which I had already been talking to them, because initially with our launch, we wanted to have some of their merchandise anyways, t-shirts and hoodies. But because of the supply chain stuff, they're totally shut down.
Oh, it's crazy.
For any new brand production. And so I think all they're doing is selling stuff that they've already made, because I think they're so backed up. They're trying to fulfill orders for a lot of minor league baseball. Because I know even today you were trying to celebrate.
Yep.
And you were trying to buy a hat, and there were tons of them that were just sold out.
Sold out. Yep. it's funny because like, you know, where it's like, okay, you know, they finally, you know, kudos to 47 brand. I love that stuff. Right. But
Yeah.
from what I've been told is from what they're saying is that they're moving warehouses. So a lot of their merchandise is like, you know, they're in the transit. So they don't know what they have on top of supply chain issues, which is across the board with everything, all merge, you know, not just in baseball, but everything, you know, so it's insane.
It's crazy. So what I was getting at though, Ed, is I am going to have you help us design our first dad hat. I think we have to, right? I mean, it's the Dad Hat Chronicles.
Yes.
I mean, you're, you know, welcoming enough to have us on your podcast. You've been tweeting like crazy. You voted a bunch. I'm pretty sure you pre-ordered some merch as well.
I did. Sure did.
I mean, that's like super fan status pretty much. So if I can do one thing, it's going to be once we announce the final brand, I'll reach out and we'll start designing a dad hat. Now, if we got to wait for 47 brand, that means it may not be released till next year. If I find another hat manufacturer, maybe we'll do that one first or something, but
count me in. And then I'll find a way to make it up there to go watch a game. Believe me, I will make it. Are you kidding me? I'm honored. That's podcast over. Let's go home. I don't care.
Over. Let's go.
That's awesome. I'm honored. I really am. Thank you so much for that. I'm in. I think that's
how many hats are in your collection?
I haven't done a full count right now, but if you see from my wall, that I'm over 150. And I have 2 boxes sitting here that I usually do an unboxing video. So I have not done those unboxing videos yet. So sorry, babe, I love you. I got 4 there.
So you told me before we talked, and obviously I can see your wedding ring, and you just said, sorry, but you're married and still married. You're still married at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Battle all of the hats.
So we had to come up with I had to commit, right? So pretty much I gave in, and she told me this, and I needed to do it. I'm like, you're right, I am. So we limited 1 a week, and I usually do the video, which is with my daughter, where we do a random wheel of hats. So I do my research during the week, make sure that, you know, the teams that I have on the wheel have a dad hat, and then I pick it. So it's 1 a week only. Sometimes I go a little bit over just if there's something like, you know, like a very rare hat that are not there and they're not going to be there anymore. But otherwise, I had to, because I was spending a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure.
And the good thing is these are cheap. These are cheaper than the 5950s, because 5950s are structured. You got to keep them very, you know, I use every single one of them, all of them.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. Do you have a favorite? I know you've been asked a bunch of times.
So I am going to give you the answer by that. My friend Hardy, the hat guy, said on the podcast. My favorite hat is going to be the next one.
Nice.
I did order a Seattle Kraken hat, that hat, the one with the anchor on it. Yep. So I have that one. And then another one that I love, which is I love their logo, is the Minnesota Wild.
Oh yeah,
that's the NHL. Yeah, so those are, you know, I love those, but you know, I'm waiting to see what my major league team here does as far as merchandise, and hopefully new name, doubt it, new logo. One can only hope. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it's the next one, because obviously as a collector, you know. Do you have any collections?
You know, I used to have hundreds of thousands of baseball cards. I was that kid, you know, I was just always organizing, and I'm going to blame my grandmother a little bit. She fed into it. I think it's how she liked spending time with me. So she liked organizing.
Nothing wrong with that.
Right. But unfortunately I was the 90s kid in the early 90s, collecting baseball cards like all of us, and thought that we were going to be rich if we held on to baseball cards. And, you know, I remember the constant conversation. My grandmother was like, well, if you don't open this, you know, factory sealed box, it might help put you through college. And unfortunately, you know, I sold that box on eBay for like $20, which is probably the same price that I paid to pay for it, you know, and that was just a couple of years ago. So I used to be into cards. I started a hat collection a little bit, but, you know, I've moved a few times, so I don't have any current collections right now.
Gotcha.
I've got to think about it, but I think eventually I'll get into something. You know,
There's never a wrong time to start anything. What this podcast has allowed me has to really learn that a lot of people have different, they've started in every single different way. They're collecting different things, which is the best part about this community, which is fun.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot of fun.
So are you the one in your team that handles your own social media? You're the one that's always interacting with all of us and things like that, or do you have a team that also does that as well?
We're very small, so I'm one of 3 owners.
Mm-hmm.
And so and then I run kind of the day-to-day operations, and then in the summer we'll bring in some seasonal staff and some interns as well. So during the summer we've got a bunch of people on social media. We have a social media intern. We have myself, one of the other owners. Typically on social media right now, it's me and one of the other owners that are interacting on there pretty frequently. I'm doing it day to day. My business partner who helps on the social media side of things, he runs an indoor baseball facility. He's the general manager there. Yeah. So he's very, very busy with his day-to-day job. And so, but he'll pipe in there. He likes to get things back and forth. Yesterday, he texted me and he was like, "Are we having a battle on Twitter with the Savannah Bananas and Macon Bacon?" Because I think I called him out. And I said, "Yep, we're going for it." And
he
said,
do it.
We're going to have made it if they call us out.
Love it. That's amazing. Yeah, do it. All the way in West versus East. Oh, I'm all for that. That's amazing. Don't get me wrong. They have they figured out, like you guys, is entertainment, baseball as well.
And I reached out to Jesse Cole of the Bananas probably 5 years ago, and answered his cell phone on like the second ring. And then, we talked, I think I emailed him first actually. And then he said, "Call me here. I'll talk, answer any questions you have." He spent an hour on the phone with me, answering any questions I had. I'll text him here and there, send him an email. He's super nice and supportive. And like you said, and, they went through the struggles when they first started as well. Jesse spent his time learning with another team, the Gastonia Grizzlies, before they figured out how to do it in Savannah. And so they've been a great resource, and they have a lot of fun down there, and they've done some great things, and they've gotten a lot of really recent press being on SportsCenter and ESPN and in the Boston Globe. They've earned it. They do a great job down there. But yeah, we're definitely trying to build something up here that's
that's unique for you guys, in your area.
For us, and great for our community.
Let me ask you, because I've experienced this in minor leagues, and fans and people are been, for the most part, actually all the time, they've been very welcoming. They like to help each other out. Is that what you've experienced so far, going through, the rebranding and, retooling of your whole team?
It's interesting that you asked that. Minor league baseball been great. Jason from Brandios has a list of contacts when you work with them. They're like, "These are people we've done work for before. Feel free to reach out and ask." What I've tended to find is people that are at quite a bit higher level than you are very open to helping you. People who have been successful, and then the people who are maybe a tier above you, or they think they're right, their ego. And the amount of times I've been big leagued by people is just amazing. In person, somewhere else. We've been told a summer collegiate team can't work in Seattle, and we're going to prove them all wrong. Like this is, our community wants this. It does not. We're not competing with the Seattle Mariners. You
can't.
I can't, right? If you are a diehard baseball fan, you are going to stay home and watch that game on Root Sports, or you are going to go to the game.
Correct.
Or you're going to go to a bar and watch the game if you don't have cable. Like if you are a diehard Mariners fan and a baseball fan, you're going to. I can't compete with baseball. But for the other 130,000 people that are in the West Seattle community, and we're here to entertain you. Families, we're going to be cheaper than going to the movies for a family of 4. And a lot of fun. So that's what we're doing. And then it's funny, his name is Pat, and I'm losing his last name, but he ran the Orlando Magic for a number of years, and he wrote a book on Bill Veeck. And I've read everything about Bill Veeck that I can find. And Pat Williams, I think is his name. And Pat wrote a book about Veeck, and I loved it. And so I went and I found his email, and I sent him an email. And the next morning in my inbox, I had an email directly from him, and he gave me his phone number and said, anytime you want to talk about the sports biz, let me know. And
that's awesome.
Said, hey, you inspired me. You know, we decided to rebrand. I sent him, and he said, I voted. I love these, you know, have a lot of fun. And it's just great, you know, and people being open to that. In fact, John Stanton, who's the president and owner and managing partner of the Seattle Mariners, happened to be in our ballpark a few years ago. And it was right when they announced that his ownership group was acquiring the team. And I guess his son was pitching against us on another summer collegiate team. And it wasn't in our league, it was a non-league game. And his picture had just been put in the paper, and he came up the stairs from the concession stand, and I was sitting there, and it was while an inning was going on, so we weren't running any promotions. And he just smiled, and he said hi, and I said hi to him. And then he walked past, and then my business partner at the time, I said, I know who that guy is. I just know. And they're like, oh, you don't know who that guy is, blah, blah. And I Googled it, and I was like, that's the new owner of the Mariners. And they didn't believe me until I showed them the picture. And then I walked over, and I just said, hello, hey. And he actually owns 2 other summer collegiate teams in our state that are in the West Coast League, the Yakima Valley Pippins and the Walla Walla Sweets. And so I started talking to him, and he actually was super sincere. He was nice. And he connected me with the person who was running his summer collegiate teams, Zachary Frazier. And Zachary Frazier was a great mentor to me for quite a few years. And he's gone on to doing something in collegiate sports now. And that was awesome. Great. Like relationship. And then when we were having the kids run the bases at the end of the game, because we always do that on Friday and Saturday nights, and I look up in the stands, and John Stanton is up there smiling, clapping his hands for the kids running. And it's just, you know, a billionaire who, you know, he could be anywhere, but he decided to be in our community to watch his son throw in a summer collegiate game, and then stayed until after the game and watched the kids and cheered on kids in a community that he doesn't even live in. And so going back to, you know, it's a long way of answering your question, but it was just, I've noticed so many people who are just at this top tier level just want to see other people be successful because they've been in that grind where other people are.
Yeah, everybody, we've all been there. Like, you know, it's whatever it is that you're doing, right? It's you got to put in the work, but at the same time, if you have people that, you know, that are willing to help you and guide you and, you know, answer questions for you, because that's what I've experienced so far in me running this podcast is everybody that I've called or I've, you know, asked, you know, hey, do you want to be on my podcast? Or, hey, how do I do this? Or, you know, any ideas? Everybody's been super nice. And they're like, yeah, absolutely. Without hesitation, everybody so far that I've asked to be on the podcast has said yes, including yourself.
That's great. No, and I'm really glad you asked. And because I love it. And, you know, it's helpful for me. It's helpful for you. And it's helpful for a community. I've talked about so many different things here that I haven't talked about with anyone else, you know, and it's great. Right. And I think it's just having that abundance mindset, right? Mm-hmm. There's enough listeners for all of us. There's enough, you know, dad hats for all of us. There's enough New Era 5950. These collectors are spending a fortune. You know, you guys are collecting hats like crazy. And, you know, the fact that there's it's Logo-vember and everybody's celebrating it. It's not that, oh, they're coming out with a logo too. It's like, oh, great. This is building our community, right? There's more fans, because if there's more baseball fans, there's going to be better rivalries, and there's just going to be, you know, more interaction, and there's going to be more people that travel from one, you know, state to another to come see what you're doing. You know, it's like, oh, well, the Savannah Bananas have done it. And it's like, no, there's room for all of us.
There's absolutely room for everybody. They're all the way on the East Coast, and you guys are on the West Coast. There's plenty of people in between.
Exactly. Yep. And why shouldn't all of our communities and neighborhoods just get to experience that? You know, I feel like that's our responsibility.
You know, I completely agree. I minor league baseball is the only sport that I know of where me as a fan, I can root for, any team, go to another ballpark, and nobody's going to give me any crap about the hat that I'm wearing or the shirt that I'm wearing. They'll be like, oh my God, where'd you get that? How do I get that? That hat, where is that logo at? Where's that logo from? This is the only one. Major leagues, you get booed. In the NFL, you get booed, right?
Yep.
Sometimes you get into a fight, but not in minor league baseball.
It's very true. Very true.
All right, my friend. So we're at that part now. You've done your research, right? So are you ready to answer my famous, not so famous questions here?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to give you the easy one here. When you go to the ballpark, as a fan, not as someone who is working, as a fan, what is your snack or drink of choice?
Okay. So if I go to a Mariners game, I have to go to the back alley behind what's now Lumen Field, where the Seahawks play. And there's this back alley that leads up to T-Mobile Park where the Mariners play. And that back alley has a bunch of vendors. There's hot dog vendors, there's kettle corn vendors, and I'm always going to Joe's hot dogs.
Nice.
Joe's great. I've been going to Joe's since, I was probably a teenager, and it's every game. You go down there, you get a huge hot dog. It's way better than what's found in the ballpark. And he's a great guy. That's another person. I reached out to him on Facebook 5 years ago and said, hey, we serve hot dogs in our stadium in White Center. Can you help me? He gave me a list of where he buys his hot dogs, what he puts on his hot dogs, how he grills. That's
awesome.
And he even said he'd come down and train our staff how to grill up the perfect hot dog.
So that's cool.
Yep.
Love it. That's amazing. And I love this. I'm a fan of hot dogs, so there it is. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Good man. That's a great answer. All right. Tacos or burritos?
It's so hard. Okay, you got to define it. Are we talking street tacos?
Ooh, right.
Are we talking large hot dog or not hot dogs, tacos? Because if we're talking the larger, like soft tacos, I'm not a crunchy taco guy, sorry. Or are we talking street tacos?
So, it's funny you say that because I talked to someone else who said the same thing. It's like, listen, if you're going to talk about street tacos or like, the actual tacos they sell in Mexico, that's a different story than the tacos here in the US. They're two totally different things. So I'm going to leave it up to you to decide which one is it that you want, because I'm guessing you're probably going to go with tacos if you choose, let's say, street tacos, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with tacos. Yeah. I really am. I love a burrito. Burritos are easier to eat, in my opinion, because, even street tacos, they're always overfilled, which is a good problem to have. But God, a good street taco, you can't beat that.
Sounds like a plan. That's a great answer. Okay. Strangest thing you've ever eaten?
Strangest thing of alligator.
Really?
Yeah.
I've actually had alligator myself.
Have you? Yeah, I think that's the strangest. And, I have family. I was born in Jacksonville, Florida. I didn't spend any time there. It's just where I was born. So I have family down there. So I went to visit one year, and it was for my cousin's wedding, and her fiance at the time just wanted to take us to this restaurant. And it's literally on this swampland. And at a certain time of year, they feed alligators off the back dock and the porch. And so it had all this different type of game. And so he was all about ordering different types of samples of things where we could try things. So we tried frog legs at the time and alligator. So I think that's the strangest thing. Yep.
I've had both. I've had frog legs and then alligator. Not which is me and my wife, we went for like a 1-year anniversary to Arizona. Of all places, that's where I've had it. I've had both. So
really?
But yeah, Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was delicious though. So I'm, I'll probably try it again. Have you tried the grasshoppers at the Seattle Mariners game?
I haven't. The times that I was going, I'm not sure if they serve them there anymore or not. Mm-hmm. I don't think they do. I think it was a 1-year thing, but they were sold out for every game that I went to.
Yeah, it was just super popular.
It was just nuts. Yeah.
Love it. Okay. Favorite board game?
Monopoly.
Good answer.
Yeah, it's just always, I mean, that's having that business mindset.
Yeah, I was
It's
just
just,
gonna say,
you
yeah.
know, I don't like board games for the most part. I don't
Mhm.
like card games for the most part. I'd rather do something, where we're out running around. But yeah, if we got to play a board game, Monopoly is my board game, and I don't care that it takes hours. I love it.
Love it. I actually, yeah, it's one of my favorite ones as well. Okay. Latest TV show that you've binge watched.
Latest TV show. I just binge watched Seinfeld.
The
Seinfeld
whole
guy.
the whole series.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't binge watch it in one. I mean,
You're
binge
right,
watching,
obviously, yeah.
yeah, is gonna take a while, but I watched the whole series. I mean, it took me 2 months, but
That's a lot.
watch the whole series. So
Nice.
yeah,
Congratulations. I
yeah,
have not. I watched it here and there.
yeah.
So I never really got to binge watch the whole series, but I might. We'll see.
Yeah,
Um,
it's an older show, just a little nostalgic, I guess. So
oh, for
there's some
sure.
new ones. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a fan of Friends, so I mean,
Oh, yeah.
anytime Friends comes on, I'll watch it. So
Yeah.
there's that. Okay, first celebrity crush.
Ooh, first celebrity crush. Probably gonna have to be, probably Britney Spears.
Hey, all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, probably, which is pretty funny considering she was freed this
I was
this
just gonna say
past
that's
week,
right.
right? Yeah, she's relevant in the news. I'll tell you one other story. I don't think I've told this to anyone in a really long time. I was in 5th grade, and me and 4 other friends decided to start a boy band, and it was about that time. In Sync and 98 Degrees and Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera were all very popular. We started a boy band called the Britney Boys, and we sung and performed at assemblies Britney Spears songs along with choreography.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Please tell me there's video of this because this is
No
great
video, it
stuff.
was free video. I think there's 1 or 2 pictures that float out there. There's a girl we went to high school with who will every once in a while send us the picture. Like, hey, look what I found. But yeah, there's not a ton of evidence.
That's
However,
great.
we did go to a Britney Spears concert that summer, and all but one of us wore our shirts that said Britney Boys and our names on the back. And every girl that we saw there that was way older than us wanted to take pictures with us. We thought we were great. And the kid who didn't wear his Britney Boys shirt had to make an excuse every single time. But his reason for not wearing it is he was embarrassed. And then he ended up being the one embarrassed at the show.
For not wearing it.
Yeah, for not wearing it. Yeah.
That's great. That is a great story, my friend. That is a great story. I love it. Okay, so what was your nickname growing up?
Oh, I think a lot of people just call me Mose. Because my last name is Moser, so they call me Mose. Yep.
Good name. I like it. Pool or ocean?
Ooh. Pool.
Pool.
Yeah. Yep.
As a swimmer, you like it? You feel more comfortable there?
Yeah, just easier. Don't have to deal with the sand, rip currents, different things. I've been stung by jellyfish too many times. I'm good.
No way.
Yeah. So, but don't mind the ocean. But I definitely take the pool now, sitting by the pool, laying by the pool, and having something good to drink.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. Breakfast or dinner?
Ooh. Dinner.
Dinner?
Yeah, definitely a dinner guy.
Gotcha. This is a very contested question that a lot of people have very different answers. Pineapple on pizza, yay or nay?
I am a pineapple on pizza type of guy. Hawaiian is I like it, and I'm not ashamed of it at all.
You're gonna stick up for the guys that
Yep, I'm with it.
I like it. All right. I know, mad respect. I'm not a fan. My wife is, but I'm indifferent about it. I'm okay with it.
Does your wife run a podcast? Because she likes the other brand. She likes. I don't know. We might have to bring her in here.
I've tried many times to get her on the podcast, but I'm still working on her to come on and give her side of the story as the one married to the one who's doing this.
You need to make her a deal when you get to. So, how many episodes have you done, Ed?
So released, I've as of today, which is the 13th of November. I've released 15 so far. This week will be coming up 16, but recorded. I've actually have a few of them. It's just I have to go through all a bunch of ones. But yeah.
Tell her when you get to episode 100, she's got to come on.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. She will be
that deal.
episode 100. I was like,
Yep.
all right, here it is. You can go ahead and ask any question you want. You know, we'll go from there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That I like it. I like that idea. I'm going to write that down because I like it. A couple more questions here. Pancakes or waffles?
Oof. Okay. I'm going to push back. Belgium waffle, all time great, right? If it's a regular waffle, I'm taking pancakes.
Okay. All right. Any particular reason? Just, you go straight for the pancakes?
But yeah, Belgium are just, they're smaller, typically a little bit softer, and, they're great. But a larger waffle, not so great. I'll go with a pancake over that.
Sounds good. I like it. Okay. Let's see. Theme park or water park?
Water park.
Obviously, right? I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
I should have known better. I should have known better. All right. Last but not least, do you think aliens exist?
I'm sure they do. But I don't go down the rabbit hole of conspiracies. If I can't prove it wrong, I'm open to it.
I like that answer. I've had people say, it's like, you know what? I don't want to believe it just because I don't want to find out.
Yep.
Love it. Justin, thank you so much for being on this podcast. I really do appreciate it. Anywhere where people can find you on social media right now for the team, for you, anything like that?
Yeah, they can follow the team at Highline Bears, HIGHLINE, and then Bears, BEARS, and make sure they're looking out for that new name announcement on December 2nd. We'll have the time announced later this week, and make sure they get in and check out what we're doing, and all our handles will change after that. So if they're seeing us much after that, just make sure they're looking us up in West Seattle.
All right. Love it, my friend. Again, thank you so much. And then we will definitely, I know for sure, I'll be paying attention on December 2nd. I can't wait for that day.
I can't wait either. And I can't wait to see the dad hat we create.
Absolutely. I'm so excited right now. You don't even know. I'm about to go run downstairs and tell my wife how excited I am about this.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for having me, Ed.
Anytime, my friend. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. I know I did. I am super pumped and honored to be able to design a hat for either the Seal Slingers or the Fish Sticks. Either way, it's a great brand, so I'm happy to help out. And to be honest, it's the highlight of my podcasting career right now. So like I said, I'm truly honored. Make sure you guys are following them because December 2nd is coming up, right? And they are going to be dropping the new name, all right? So it's on the Highline Bears Twitter account for now, so make sure you guys are following them so that way you guys can see what the new team is going to be. Okay, a couple of things. Make sure that you guys are also signed up for the YouTube account, my YouTube channel, so that way you guys are always in the know. I'm going to be dropping some new things here and there. Okay, I'm going to be working on doing little snippets of the interviews and posting that on the Instagram account. Okay, and then make sure that you guys are telling one more person about this podcast so that way they'll always enjoy it. Okay, when you register for the podcast, give it 5 stars. Okay, we go up on the rankings that way. All right, until then, keep on grinding, guys, and always support the minor leagues. See you.